A woman who truly desires you doesn't need to touch you. One well-placed word is enough to strip you bare on the inside, and you feel it without even realizing it, but you don't understand it, and you don't know how to respond. Most older men don't fail because they lack experience, but because they can't read the hidden codes of a younger woman. Because she's not going to say, "I like you." That would be too simple. Think about it. It would take all the thrill out of the game of seduction. So instead, she'll test you. She'll throw you lines wrapped in innocence, in mock arguments, in playful teasing, just to see how far you're willing to go. And if you don't know how to read them, the moment slips away. Today, I'm going to reveal those words, those subtle hints, the 7 clearest ones, the ones that give her away without her meaning to. But be careful. The last one doesn't just confirm that she wants you. It opens a door that, if you're not ready to walk through, you'd better leave closed. I'm Celia, and this is your House of Wisdom. If you've ever doubted whether a woman wants you, after this video, you won't need to wonder anymore. Have you ever felt like a woman was testing you, but you couldn't tell if it was desire or mockery? She looked at you with that mix of mischief and irony and said, "Do you always talk like this with everyone?" She didn't say it out of curiosity or respect. She said it because something about you was already touching her, because when a young woman throws that question your way, what she really wants to know is just one thing, whether she's going to be someone special to you or just another name on your list. And here we are, at the first point of this video. Do you always talk like this with everyone? That line isn't an accusation. It's a trap loaded with expectation. She throws it at you like someone smiling while hiding a blade, because she wants to know if you're the kind of man who knows how to distinguish, if you've got the strength to draw a soft but firm line. Because if you hesitate, if you justify yourself, or if you play along like a nervous teenager, you've already lost. She doesn't want a man who begs for approval. She wants one who knows exactly who he is, even when she's testing him with a sarcastic tone. Let me tell you something most people won't admit. More often than not, a young woman is already attracted to you before she says a single word. She watched you in silence, felt something in her gut, and wondered, why does this older man draw me in so much? But she can't let you know that too easily. She has to test you. She needs to see if what you're projecting is real, or just a lucky moment. Picture this. You're at a gathering, speaking with elegance, not trying to impress. A young woman walks over, listens for a moment, and then interrupts with that line. She's sizing you up. She wants to see how you react when your charm starts to unsettle her, because that too turns her on. And right there, you have 2 choices. Shrink down, start explaining yourself, saying, "No, I'm just polite with everyone," or do something far more powerful. Smile without answering. Hold her gaze calmly. Make her feel like you already knew she'd say that, like you're not thrown off, like you don't need to defend yourself, because you know exactly the effect you have. That silence is worth more than 1,000 words. It's your way of saying, "No, I don't talk like this with everyone. I talk like this with someone who interests me." And believe me, if you look at her with intention, if you hold your ground, that line she threw to throw you off, it flips on her, because now she's the one second-guessing. Did you intrigue her more than she expected? Did she just show jealousy over something that isn't even hers? That, darling, is the power of understanding what a woman truly means, even when she's not ready to say it out loud. When a woman throws that first test your way and you pass it effortlessly, something shifts in her eyes. She stops seeing you as a game and starts seeing you as a possibility. But be careful. This isn't the end of the challenge, because after that first spark, something subtler, more intimate comes next. Something that isn't said to provoke you, but because she can't hold it in anymore. We've reached the second key point of this video. You make me feel weird, but I like it. Now you're no longer in battle territory, you're at the threshold of desire. That phrase, full of contradiction, is a confession that even catches her off guard. Because women don't usually admit when something throws them off, moves them, confuses them. That weirdness she mentions isn't rejection. It's raw emotional and physical attraction. It's that dizzying feeling that comes when someone touches a place no one else has ever reached. In psychology, that mix of confusion and pleasure has a name: emotional dissonance. It happens when someone feels two conflicting impulses at once. On one hand, there's the rational idea of what she's supposed to want, and on the other, there's the real, instinctive, visceral desire. When a young woman tells you, "You make me feel weird," she's unknowingly admitting that something about you breaks her patterns. That you don't fit into the mold of the cute guy or the guy her age. That you're forcing her to question what she thought she wanted. And that's where your true power lies. Because a man who understands that dissonance doesn't flinch, doesn't try to fix it, he holds it, he embraces it, he uses it to his advantage. You don't need to explain that it's normal. You don't have to ease her discomfort. Your presence is enough. Your calmness is the contrast that intensifies her internal chaos. And that, without her saying it, turns her on. Stoicism speaks of serenity in the face of chaos, of not trying to control the external, but mastering your inner response. That's exactly what you need to do when a woman tells you she feels weird. It's not the time to hesitate or play therapist. It's time to stand firm in your masculine energy, to hold her gaze, say nothing, and just barely smile, like someone who understands more than he lets on. Because when a man responds with calm confidence to desire disguised as doubt, what he projects is irresistible. You're not there to solve her emotions. You're there to stir them, to be the spark for something she didn't even know she wanted to experience. And that, darling, is the difference between a man who attracts her and one who transforms her. You've already seen how the game begins, with a line laced with subtle jealousy. You felt desire disguised as emotional confusion, but now we're stepping into deeper territory where emotions are more exposed. We've reached the third point in this video, and this is where everything starts to shift. With you, I feel safe, but also nervous. This is the moment when a young woman stops pretending to be indifferent. She's no longer testing the waters with vague phrases. She's saying without saying it that you awaken two opposing forces in her: a need for protection and a dangerous attraction. This is the line that marks the boundary between the game and true emotional desire. And here, you need to apply a very specific strategy. Don't match her anxiety. Instead, deepen your calm. Because what keeps her interested isn't that you're just as nervous. It's that you give her that emotional contrast no guy her age can offer. She needs to feel that you can handle what you stir in her, that you don't run from her intensity, you stand firm through it. Think of yourself like an oak tree in the middle of a storm. She is wind, rain, chaos, but you don't move, and that doesn't bore her. On the contrary, it draws her in like a magnet. Because in a world full of men who shake inside when a woman makes them nervous, you stay grounded. And that steadiness isn't arrogance. It's emotional presence. It's knowing you don't need to do anything more than simply be there. Just be you, with your calm gaze, your steady voice, your relaxed body. It works because, even if they don't admit it, women fall in love first with how they feel around you. If she feels safe with you, but also gets that flutter in her stomach, she's no longer thinking with her head. She's feeling with her body. And when that happens, there's no going back. Picture this. You're walking with her at night, no rush, just talking. At one point, she stops and says, "I don't know why, but with you I feel safe, and a little nervous too." Don't explain. Don't ruin the magic with unnecessary words. Just look at her and stay there. Let her feel it, because in that silence, something stronger than words is being born. Before we go on, if this content is opening your eyes, hit like and subscribe to the video. I'd love to know what country you're watching from. And if a woman has ever said that line to you, drop it in the comments with 3 simple words. Felt it before. There are still powerful revelations to uncover, and trust me, the last one won't just surprise you. It'll show you exactly what to do when a woman already wants you, without hiding it. When a young woman tells you she feels safe with you, but also nervous, she's opening a door that's rarely offered. She's showing you that the attraction is already alive, that her body and mind are dancing between desire and mystery. But this is where many men mess everything up. Not out of clumsiness, but out of anxiety, the need to prove themselves, to explain, to say too much. And that brings us to the fourth point of this video. I've never talked like this with someone like you. That comment, which may sound like an innocent compliment, is actually a powerful confession. She's telling you that the connection she feels with you is unique, that there's something in you she doesn't find in the men around her. But this is where the most common and most damaging mistake appears, not believing it. Doubting yourself right at the moment when you should be owning it, making excuses, downplaying it, minimizing what she feels as a revelation. It's a mental trap that creeps in over the years, especially if you've been through relationships where you were ignored, questioned, or replaced. You start thinking that this kind of connection can't be real, that if a young woman speaks to you with that kind of honesty, there must be a trick, a game, a hidden motive, and then you sabotage it. You try to match her energy, you crack a joke, you break the emotional tension she was willing to hold with you. And just like that, what could have been an emotional leap becomes a step backward. Do you know why this mistake is so destructive? Because it shatters the masculine image she was starting to build in her mind. When a young woman says she's never talked like this with someone like you, she's lifting you up, placing your presence in a different category. But if you respond like you're not worthy of that, the bubble bursts. She feels like she made a mistake, that maybe she got carried away by a fleeting emotion, and she starts to pull away. Insecurity doesn't always show in what you say, it shows in what you can't hold. That moment when you could have simply looked at her, silently appreciated her confession, held the mystery, but instead you filled the space with unnecessary words, because you felt the need to justify your worth. That impulse, seemingly harmless, kills more chances than you'd think. The solution isn't in saying more, it's in saying less, but saying it with truth, in accepting what she feels with grace, without turning it into a celebration or a joke, in understanding that her words don't need interpretation, just presence. She's already telling you how she feels. She doesn't need an explanation. She just wants to see if you can hold it, without falling apart. And that, my friend, is what separates the man who inspires emotional attraction from the one who's just another conversation. When a young woman tells you she's never talked like this with someone like you, she's giving you the chance to step into a space no one else has occupied. But if you don't know how to hold that privilege, you lose it. Not because she changes, but because you lower yourself. Instead of standing firm in your value, you start seeking her approval. And that's the most dangerous ground a man can fall into. What comes next is a question that may seem innocent, but carries far deeper implications than you might imagine. We've reached the fifth point in this video. What are you looking for in a woman? Do you know why that question is so powerful? Because it doesn't come from a woman who's indifferent. It comes from a woman who's already started imagining herself with you, who needs to know if there's space for her in your desire. But this is where many men betray themselves. Instead of answering from clarity and the wisdom of their experience, they answer from need. They bend, they shape themselves, they say what they think she wants to hear. And in that moment, they lose their appeal. The real consequence of falling into this trap is devastating. Because by doing it, you're silently telling her, I'm willing to change what I want just to please you. And even if you don't say it out loud, she feels it. She picks up on it. She senses it. And while she may not walk away immediately, something inside her cools off. Because a young woman can be attracted to many things, but deep desire only comes from what she respects. And if you don't respect your own standards, if you're not clear about what you expect from a woman, she won't see you as a strong presence, but as something malleable, usable. This pattern isn't broken with motivational quotes. It's broken with an inner decision to stop answering from scarcity. Because if, when she asks what you're looking for in a woman, you respond with hesitation, with vague answers, with soft words that commit to nothing, what you're really showing her is that you have no direction, that any woman could fit into your life as long as she stays, and that doesn't create desire. It creates pity, or worse, indifference. Breaking this pattern means embracing a different mindset, one that's not about trying to appeal to everyone, but about clearly knowing what kind of woman you open your door to. You need to answer with conviction. Look her in the eyes and say something that comes from your core. You don't have to be harsh or cold, just solid. You could say, I'm looking for a woman who knows who she is, who's not afraid to feel, but also not afraid to respect. And then, stay silent. Because when you speak from truth, you don't need to convince. You just need to be there, be you. No decoration, no bending. If you don't do this, you'll keep repeating the same cycle. She'll feel curious, she'll draw near, she'll ask, and without realizing it, you'll become her mirror. You'll reflect what she wants to see, and then wonder why she never stayed. The answer is simple and brutal. There's no real desire where there's no masculine direction. But change is possible. And it starts with a question, not for her, but for yourself. Am I willing to lose myself, just so someone else will choose me? If the answer is no, then start speaking from there. Because only when you define yourself with strength does a woman start to see you as more than just an option. She starts to see you as a destination. If you don't know what you want in a woman, you'll end up accepting anything, just to avoid being alone. And that turns you into an emotional beggar, even if you're dressed like a gentleman, because neediness can't be hidden. It's sensed. It shows in your silences, in the way you answer, in how you try not to lose her, before you've even had her. That's why, when a young woman asks what you're looking for and you're not clear, she feels it. And what could have become an unforgettable story turns into a faint memory. But if you took that step, if you had the courage to be clear and firm, you'll face something far more intimate. A phrase not born from logic, but from emotional surrender. We've arrived at the 6th point in this video. I don't know why, but I feel like telling you everything. That phrase is dangerous, not because it's fake, but because it's real, deeply real. A woman who says that has already let her guard down. She's no longer evaluating you. She's not measuring you anymore. She's opened the door without even realizing it. And if you don't know what to do with that door wide open, you'll close it yourself, without meaning to. Because many men, upon hearing this, switch into therapist mode. They want to listen, advise, comfort. And without realizing it, they kill the desire. They smother it with understanding. Picture this. It's late, after a deep conversation, and she looks at you and says that. I feel like telling you everything. In that moment, she doesn't want solutions. She doesn't want answers. She just wants to feel like she can let go without being judged. That there's a man in front of her who doesn't need to fix anything. Just be present. That's your real role. Not healer, not savior. Emotional witness. The one who, by doing little, holds everything. Because if you respond with anxiety, rushing to ask more, dig deeper, help her, what she feels isn't support, it's need. And so she pulls back. She starts filtering, second-guessing, measuring her words. She no longer flows, because you didn't know how to hold her vulnerability. And though she won't say it out loud, she's disappointed. There's a harsh but true saying, when a woman feels truly heard, her body opens. Not because of logic, because of trust, because of emotional surrender. If she feels like she can tell you anything without being interrupted, judged, or fixed, then she starts imagining you inside her intimacy, not just emotionally, but physically. Because female desire isn't sparked by what you give, it's ignited by what you can hold. Now visualize it. You're sitting with her. No music, no distractions. Just her voice getting softer, her gestures gentler, and her words flowing like she can't hold them back. And you, just listening, watching her, calm, not trying to steer the conversation anywhere. That, my dear, is what no woman forgets. Because it's not about what you said, it's about what you made her feel while she spoke. And if you don't understand this, if you keep reacting as if her vulnerability is an invitation to prove your worth, what you're really doing is breaking the moment, making her feel like she has to protect herself again, even from you, that she can't fully trust. And then she pulls away, because nothing hurts more than opening up to someone who couldn't stay quiet. That's how simple, how raw, how real it is. If you didn't know how to hold her trust when she started opening up, chances are she'll erase you, not with drama, not all at once, but quietly, the way women do when they give themselves for a second, and then remember why they stopped trusting in the first place. But if you did hold that space, if you were there without trying to fix her, without invading her, then what comes next is inevitable. A phrase that's not thrown out casually, but because she's already imagined you in her life. We've reached the 7th point of this video. Don't you think if we'd met earlier? That comment isn't nostalgia, it's projected desire. It's a young woman who's already pictured you, with her, in her bed, in her routine, in her past, because she wants to bring you into her present. And if you don't recognize the emotional weight of those words, you'll take them as a sweet thought and not what they really are, an open door to her most intimate longing. When a woman says that, she's confessing that she's already crossed the line. She no longer sees you as someone outside her world. She's placed you in her story, given you a role. Maybe she imagined what it would have been like to meet you in her early years, how you would have changed her choices, what it might have been like to touch you before she even knew what she wanted. And now, you're standing in front of her, and she wants to know if you feel it too. And here, man, there's no room for doubt or soft romance. You either respond with presence or the fantasy collapses, because what she wants isn't for you to say, yeah, it would have been beautiful. What she wants is to feel that now is the moment, that no past could ever be worth more than what you can make her feel today, that you didn't need to be there before, because you're staying now. This is the time to look at her like a man who doesn't need to imagine, because he's ready to live it. No rush, no promises, just intention. Because if you don't take that place, if you hesitate, if you treat her like she's just playing around, she'll pull back, not because she doesn't want you, but because you made her feel foolish for saying it, and that she won't forgive. Up to this point, you've seen everything a young woman might say when she already wants you. But you've also seen how easy it is to ruin it, if you don't know how to hold it. There are no more excuses. You can't say, I didn't notice, I didn't get it, I thought she was just being nice. No, she said it all, with her words, with her hints, with her tests. If after this you keep being the same, it's not ignorance, it's cowardice. And that, my dear, isn't cured with age. It's cured with a decision, with clarity, with strength, with a presence that says, I'm here, not because you need me, but because I choose to be. That's how you seduce a young woman, not through nostalgia, through the confidence of a man who's no longer willing to waste his time on anything that doesn't resonate for real. If you've made it this far, it's not by accident. Not everyone has the courage to hear these truths, raw, unfiltered, without sugarcoating or modern disguises. But you do, and that already says something important. You're ready to stop surviving and start living from your truth, because desire isn't something you beg for. It's something you spark, something you hold. And what a young woman wants, though she might never say it in these words, is a man who isn't afraid to take his place, with presence, with direction, and with clarity. Today, I showed you what she says when she wants you. She says it through words that seem harmless, but if you know how to listen, they tell you everything. Now it's up to you. You can go back to your routine and forget every word, or you can start seeing differently, listening differently, acting differently, not for her, not for any woman, for you, because you deserve to stop doubting and start choosing. If any of this resonated with you, I want you to tell me in the comments with just one phrase, I love wisdom. Write it along with your country, because I want to know where the men who are truly waking up are watching from. I'm Celia, and this is House of Wisdom. This channel doesn't exist to entertain or to please. It exists to say what no one else dares to tell you, because you don't need more soft advice. You need clarity. And that's exactly what you'll find here. Subscribe now and join this community of men who have decided to wake up. Share this video with someone who's still asleep, because maybe what you heard today is exactly what he needs to open his eyes. And don't let the conversation end here. Watch either of the two videos now on screen. Whichever one you choose, it'll show you that this is just the beginning. Because once you learn how to read a woman, you start reading your entire life from a whole new place.